What's up, guys? We are back once again, and we are going to be talking about The Witcher Nightmare of the Wolf. Now, again, if you guys haven't seen this, you guys know what to do. Go ahead, click off the video, go check it out, and then come back, let me know what your thoughts were. Or you just go ahead and let me know what your thoughts were about this overall down in the comments. But this was an interesting movie. Now, at first, I thought this was going to be a series. Now, I will say, again, I'm not the most knowledgeable when it comes to The Witcher. I'm going to say that now. I think I've already stated that when I have either played the games a couple times or I've watched the series with Henry Cavill. But either way, I do enjoy the Witcher universe, and this actually drew me in even more. Now, again, this is supposed to be around Vestimir, played by Theo James, who is from the Divergent series. So, I knew I recognized the voice, couldn't really see who it was. And then, of course, we got Graham McTavish, Delgan, who also played in, what's that show? Outlander, and Castlevania, and a few others that he's been in. So we have a decent cast. Now, I will say in this whole story is the coming up of Vestimir. Now, again, Vestimir, I think that a lot of people know about for him being older and having the long hair and I guess being whatever, how he is with Geldart. Now, again, this story is how he was I would say, almost like a stable hand. He was a stable hand. He wanted adventure. He wanted coin. His father and him worked for the king, or not really the king, but the landlords of where they lived, and he just wanted fame and fortune. And finally, when a witcher came through, because his one of his masters, she was possessed, and he helps her, and then he kind of gives him that whole vibe of like, because again, you guys know how stories goes. You get this, crafty, cool character that rolls on through, and you see what kind of life he or she is living, and you want that life. You want the fame, you want the fortune, you want the power, you want, that money, and then finally you get it, and it's like, wow. And it shows the process of what happened to him when he was a child, that he was put through severe tests, sword training, survival. He was one of the very few kids that did survive the Witcher process from being pretty much eliminated through, and then he survived it, and then he became a huge like one of the top witchers of the time. And again, this was where the local kingdom was wanting to go to war with them to a certain degree, because we had a witch by the name of Tetra who did not trust them and constantly wanted to go to war with them. But we see a familiar face by the name of Lady Zabris. She is a friend of Vesemir, and they were friends as kids. She got lucky to marry, I believe, a royal, and then she had children and grandchildren, so they finally meet again. Obviously, her being 70, him even being 70, but he looks like he's in his late 20s, maybe close to 30, and the only reason why is because of the Witcher process. Now, again, the action was rather good. The acting was good as well. The story basically showing of how everything goes from Vesemir, from being how he was to now, and then taking in Geralt at a very young age, because we do see him at the very end of the movie, literally at the tail end of the movie. Like, you see him maybe like once or twice, and you're like, okay, could that be him? Which it is, because new Witchers are getting either taken from Witchers, either because someone cannot pay their toll for having Witcher help, or they volunteer, which again, Vesemir was a volunteer. He did not get traded in for coin or whatever to pay off a Witcher. He wanted to do this voluntarily. And what we see throughout the entirety of the film is him kind of going back and forth between coin and honor. And it's really cool because, again, anything like this, and again, guys, I've never really watched a whole lot of Witcher. I never really played a lot of Witcher. I'm going to have to now, so I can get further into this world, because it's very interesting, and I like these time periods anyway, with the monsters and everything of that nature. It's really cool, and it gives them more depth of how come there were so many few Witchers now, because at one point of the movie where they get framed, because when Vesemir takes on a job for his former friend, it shows that he is doing this because he's trying to not only get out of jail, but also make sure that they don't go to war with the local kingdom. And what happens is, and it's interesting because they find out that there's some type of crossbreeding going on with hybrids, and they don't know how it's happening. All we know is that there's elves going missing, and then finally when they find out that there is a elf hybrid or an elf crossbreed, they don't know exactly the reason why. And then finally, when they are able to destroy everything, Tetra sets up Vestimir and make it look like the Witchers are doing this, which in a way they are, because Deligan, the head of the Witchers at this point in time, is making hybrids slash crossbreeds to be able to create more monsters for the Witchers to keep in business, because there's so many of them, but at the same time there's not enough monsters. There's enough, but they're not causing issues to where someone's going to want to hire a Witcher. And when this happens, of course, they get set up, they find out, and they're having to go to war with the local kingdom as well as these monsters, and that's how they pretty much get wiped out. And then when Vestimir is finally the last survivor, and he has to handle, I believe, 4 or 5 kids, one of them being Geldert, he has to take them in and raise them as their own and be able to provide for them and also show a better way to be a Witcher. Not the way I guess he was taught, but a different way, because we also see where Deligan, he did lose his way. He wanted to make coin, he wanted to make profit, but in the wrong manner, and now we see the reason why of what happened. So it's interesting on that they were finally able, I guess, to show this character's background, which I know a lot of people are probably looking forward to. I personally enjoyed it. I really did. 1 out of 10, I give it a 9. The only reason why I give it a 9 is because I wish it was longer. I thought it was going to be a series, but I think this is better as a movie, out of my opinion. It gives more detail to what happened in his life. It also gives detail in what was going on in that specific time period before we go to the story that we all know, and how come the Witchers were wiped out, and there's so very few, because that I do know, as well as also why there's like very little few Witchers, as well as why Witchers are hated and everything of that nature. So again, it really goes into detail of why the Witchers were destroyed pretty much, as well as why Vestimir was the way he was when he was younger, as well as I guess the way he is now in the games or whatever. So again, it's going to be interesting to see him in the next season, possibly, of The Witcher Season 2 on Netflix, as well as also in the games. I might have to go back to the games and start, going into that world, start playing them more, as well as also possibly the books, to just be able to dive further into this this world. And it's really cool, and I'm glad that I was able to watch this and have the time to watch it and be able to review it for you guys. So what are your thoughts about this? Did you guys watch it? Did you not watch it? Either way, let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments down below. If you guys are new to the channel, consider subscribing. Leave a big fat like on the video if you guys enjoyed. Click notifications so you guys are notified every time a new video pops up on the channel. And as always, I'll see you guys on the next one.